Well, I'm down here in my man cave on my workbench, and thought I'd talk a little bit about uh, two-cycle oils for two-stroke engines, in particular, like chainsaws and not really so much outdoor marine applications, things like that, but I'm not like a guy that does competition sewing. I'm not a logger. I'm just kind of an ordinary Joe with that likes to cut firewood and burn it, and I just like outdoor power equipment. And in any event, I've got several cans of two-cycle oil here, and I just thought I'd talk about my favorite, what I think is the best two-cycle oil, and I might have a surprise at the end about some of what I'm going to have to say here. And I'll tell you, you get on the internet and YouTube, and there's like never-ending debate over which two-cycle oil is the best, what kind of mix ratio you and I have, and on. It just goes on and on and on. And all we're doing here, when it comes right down to it, is we're just gassing up our chainsaw to go out and cut a little firewood, clear some brush, clean up some storm damage. We're not really engaged in rocket science. And even though it's fun to debate all that stuff, some people get just like angry, mad as a match about it. And as far as the comments go, don't flame me on what I have to say here. If you're into whatever you're doing with your two-cycle oils, if that's what you like, I'm all for you, and you'll have no disagreements out of me. And I'm not here to advocate to a certain point. And so all this chainsaw and muffler mods and everything that goes on, I have no issues with people doing that, none at all. So if you're fooling around with your oil and doing something that really deviates from the manual, and that's what you want to do, I'm really okay with that. No problems here. And I don't know, I'm seeing a little bit of flicker in my lighting here. I've got LEDs above me, and I don't know if it's a frequency or what's going on, but I got to fix that at some point if I'm going to continue making some videos down here. But anyway, so I started off with Homelight chainsaws. My dad had a Homelight Super XL way back in the day, 32-to-1 mix. And I had a friend of mine, his dad ran McCulloch. His was 40-to-1 mix. And then along came Steel and Husqvarna, and they were 50-to-1 mix. And we didn't know what to think of that. 40-to-1, 32-to-1. I remember my dad's Homelight chainsaw, the manual said if you can't find Homelight 32-to-1 oil, it said use conventional, I think it was like 30 weight oil, and mix it 16-to-1. So there weren't all these different brands of two-cycle oil out there. And so but anyway, I'll get into some of that, the 40-to-1, 32-to-1, etc. in different videos. But so I've got here, for some reason, Echo, when they sell you a chainsaw or a trimmer, they include this Power Blend two-cycle oil. It's a synthetic blend with fuel stabilizers. And then they promote this Red Armor oil, which is kind of pricey. And I guess it's probably, I don't know if it's a synthetic oil. I cannot imagine it's not synthetic oil. Conventional oil these days seems to be a bad word, but I have no problem with conventional oils. Here's some Husqvarna oil. I bought some of this stuff in a pinch. My 435 Husqvarna came with a can of that to mix up a gallon. And then right here is some really MTD oil. It's 40 to 1. Poland is 40 to 1. And they're showing Troy-Bilt, Remington, Boland's, Huskies. These were all probably rebadged. I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably rebadged Poland's that would have gotten a can of this stuff. I don't know where I picked that up from, but anyway, and then here's the Steel 2-cycle oil. I don't know that this is, I don't think this is synthetic. I think the Steel synthetic might come in a silver can, and I don't have any of that. From what I've read, people say to avoid the Steel oil in the silver cans. It's I don't know if it, I don't fully remember if it's synthetic or it's biodegradable. I think the issue is more with probably biodegradable than anything else. And then I got an old metal can here of Lawn Boy 2-cycle oil. And the reason I mentioned this oil is this is a TCW3 oil, and it's just kind of the same oil that would go into an outboard marine engine back when they were 2-cycle. Maybe you can still buy a 2-cycle boat engine, but this is mixed 32 to 1 in Lawn Boy. And so I'm kind of old school, and like I said, you know, kind of average Joe on this. I want my stuff to run, and I just want to put the oil in the gas can, mix it up, put it in the saw, and run it. So I really don't get into a big science project about oils, but I do have a lot of years of experience running 2-cycle engines, and have cut an enormous amount of wood and mowed a lot of grass with Lawn Boy push mowers. And I've got some snow blowers that are 2-cycle. And so here's where I come down on what I think's the best oil. And that's not based on any kind of science or anything like that. It's based on my experience, my opinion, and I'm just going to kind of share that with you right now. So forever, I use Steel 2-cycle oil. I can't say that it's ever let me down. I can't say that I've ever had a chainsaw that had Steel oil in it that varnished up and caused me issues, fuel line issues and such. I think most of the issues people have is with ethanol oil, not ethanol free, but just straight gas. I've had trouble with ethanol and ethanol free gas, you know, gumming up carburetors, but I've never had any trouble with Steel 2-cycle oil. So over the past several years, I've been picking up Echo chainsaws, and like I said, this Power Blend comes with it, but then they promote this Red Armor oil, and the stuff I've read on the Red Armor is really good. It has two properties that I'm really interested beyond just the lubrication, and one of them is it apparently reduces carbon buildup. And there's some videos on there that show that this Red Armor actually cleaned up engines to a certain extent. So I like that. The other thing I like about it, if I recall correctly, this oil in gas has a shelf life of something like 2 years. Now, I try to empty my saws out at the end of the year, run them dry, and I'll even leave the gas cap off and let the gas, what's residues left, just kind of evaporate out of the tank. But so I would say that my number one oil, that's kind of my go-to here, is these days is the Red Armor. As I read more about this stuff, I kind of like what I'm hearing. So as I deplete the steel, I'm using the Red Armor, and this stuff right here. I mean, I would use this. I would mix up gas for an old junky Poland Pro chainsaw just to use it up. I'm not going to throw any of it away. I'm sure the Husqvarna is good. We just don't have dealers around here that have it. So I don't tend to buy that stuff. That's not a go-to oil. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I'm just befuddled why Echo would put this stuff with their saws when they've got the Red Armor oil. But again, as I use it up, as I use the oil up, you know, I'm trying to gravitate towards where I'm going to be down to Red Armor. And it'll take me a while because I got a lot of this 2-cycle oil over the years. The reason I brought this Lawn Boy oil in here is it's a TCW3 oil, and that's typically for outdoor marine engines. And I've read, I can't remember, can't totally put my finger on it, but it seemed like a Reed valve engine, 2-cycle engine, does better with TCW3 oil. So it might be something to think about. And just being old school, you know, if they called for TCW3 oil, that's what I'm going to use. And but honestly, I think you could use just about any of these in any application for lawn and garden. Probably even this MTD stuff right here. But so sometimes your saw or your weed eater or your, especially like my leaf blower, it'll sit for a long time. I may only need to blow for like on the leaf blower, I might only need to blow 10 minutes. And, you know, I've got the sidewalks cleared and the lawnmower blown off. Whereas a chainsaw, I might run that thing 2 or 3 tanks of gas through it. Same thing with a trimmer in the course of a season, and maybe more than that. So what I've been trying to do is, in a leaf blower, I'm going to use this Red Armor, and over the slower months of the year, I'm going to run this Red Armor just for the shelf life in particular. And the rest of the year, where I'm continuously going through 2-cycle gas, I'm going to run these other oils until I deplete them. And of course, as long as I got Lawn Boy push mowers and some of these cans of Lawn Boy oil that's TCW3, I'm going to put that in. I mean, what's more cool than to take a metal can and crack the top on it like the old days and mix up some gas? So anyway, I just thought I'd talk about my favorite 2-cycle oils and why. And there's no science behind here, but a whole lot of experience. And I've never had a saw fail me using steel. I'm trying this Red Armor. I hope it don't let me down. So, I'll talk to you later.